If you're doing this at home, please pause the video and read the directions on the Do Now. Follow the directions for problems 1 through 4 and play back the video when you're ready to see the answers. So could we read these directions together on the count of 3? 1, 2, 3. Estimate by rounding to the greatest place value. You do not need to solve. So notice too, it said greatest place value. So we want to use that direction as we are going through. Number 1 said 43 minus 26. What did your estimate look like, Grace? Good. Rounded to 40 minus 30 equals. Great. If you agree with Grace, give a woohoo. Nice work. The next one said 126 minus 81. Who could tell us how they rounded and solved? Quinn? Excellent. That's excellent rounding if we were rounding to the tens place. If we want to round to the greatest place value, in this case it's actually, yes, 100 minus 80. Can you do that quickly in your head for us, please? Good. Equals 20. Excellent. Okay, now for number 3, Emily. Oh, I should read it first. 245 minus 199. 200 minus 200. Good. So if we're really following the directions and doing to the greatest place value, our estimate is going to be 0 for that one because it said round to the greatest place value. That might happen to you sometimes on your estimates. You wind up with 0. And then if you get an answer, if you were subtracting hundreds, your estimate was 0, but your answer was something like 54. Is that still pretty close to 0? Yeah, and also you can use your common sense and know you rounded quite a lot, so it still would be pretty close, even if your estimate was 0. One thing I do want to show, another way, if this had not said greatest place value, I saw this on a lot of girls' sheets. This is also a more accurate way to estimate this one. So if this is just a good accurate estimate, but since the directions today had said greatest place value, this one's the right answer for these directions. And finally, 808 minus 257. Lauren, please. Good, round that up to 300. And what did you get? Good. Excellent. Oh, and we forgot to do our woohoos. Let's just do a McDonald's cheer for everyone who answered and everyone who worked really hard on their Do Now. On the count of 3, our McDonald's cheer. 1, 2, 3. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. We're loving it. Today's lesson is about standard units of measurement and specifically standard units of length. So the first question is, why do we need standard units of measurement? If you're watching at home, pause the video, think about that for a second. You might even want to jot down something in your notes. We've discovered that we need standard units of measurement because if we didn't have them, we wouldn't be able to tell each other the length and know for sure what it is. For example, if you right now tried to measure your desk with your hand and you laid out all your hands across, some of you might get that your desk is 5 hands across. Some of you might get that it's 6 hands. Some of you might get that it's 7 hands. And no, we're not talking about Elizabeth hands. So everyone's getting different numbers because your hand is not a standard measurement. So even though your desks are the same length, you're all getting different numbers. That's why we need standard units so that everyone, everywhere, can know exactly what we mean. When we switch from one unit to another, this is called converting units. Everybody say that? Converting units. And that's what we're going to do today, is convert between those units. So if you look at a yardstick or a ruler, so I have one here in class. If you're at home, you have to kind of visualize a yardstick, because this one I put up here isn't exactly showing what a ruler would look like, because we all know that a ruler would have 12 inches on it. So if you can picture a ruler, perhaps you have one at home, you know it would go from 0 on one end all the way up to 12 on the other, and that is in inches. If you have a yardstick, it's actually like having 3 of those rulers combined onto there. A yard is 3 feet, and a ruler shows 1 foot, and 1 foot contains how many inches? 12 inches. So there are a few conversions you need to memorize. So you need to know that 1 foot equals 12 inches. Everybody say that 5 times fast. 1 foot equals 12 inches. 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 And you need to know that 1 yard equals 3 feet. 5 times fast. 1 yard equals 3 feet. 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 So a yard is clearly bigger than an inch, right? Way bigger than an inch. And a yard is bigger than a foot. In fact, 3 feet fit in 1 yard. So just for fun, you also might want to memorize these two. You could find them by doing it, doing some math, but you can also memorize them because they come up sometimes in your life. You don't need to know these for your test, but just for fun, it's good to practice. 1 mile equals, let's read this like a mathematician. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1,760 yards, which is the same as 5,280 feet. So just for fun, you could memorize those two. So now when we think about a toddler, would a toddler be closer to 2 feet tall, which is about up to here on my yardstick, 2 feet tall? Or would a toddler be 2 yards tall? 2 feet, exactly. If we were saying 2 yards, how many feet would that actually be? 2 yards, if 1 yard is 3 feet, 2 yards would be, Emily? 6 feet. That's like a tall basketball player. If you have a 6-foot toddler, that is a medical miracle, and we need to figure that out. Yeah, that'd be, so a toddler is going to be closer to 2 feet. Okay, how about a 4th grader? You can call out when you think you know. Would a 4th grader be closer to 4 feet tall or 48 inches tall? 4 feet or 48 inches, Quinn? Yes, you didn't fall for my trick. Nice job. 4 feet and 48 inches are equal because 1 foot had 12 inches. So 1 foot had 12 inches. I'm holding up and counting on my finger. 1 foot had 12. 2 feet has 24. 3 feet has 36 inches. And 4 feet has 48 inches. Good, not falling for my trick, Quinn. Okay, look on the next slide. Sometimes we are going to also solve number stories involving units of length. And this one's about Macy and Regan. Macy and Regan have dogs. This part's actually true. Summer and Lucy. Right? Your dog Regan's Lucy? Yeah. And I did not measure the length of your dog. So the lengths are made up. The dogs' names are real. The length of their 2 dogs combined is 5 feet. Summer is 3 feet long. What is the length of Lucy in inches? I'm going to read it one more time so that we understand it. Macy and Regan have dogs, Summer and Lucy. The length of their 2 dogs combined is 5 feet. Summer is 3 feet long. What is the length of Lucy in inches? The question here is what, Shallow? Ends in a question mark. What's it asking? What is the length of Lucy in inches? We know what the question's asking. Check that step off after you've underlined the question in your problem. Now, what's our plan to solve this? What are we going to need to do first? What do we need to do first? Alba?
Find out how many leftover feet is, if there are 5 feet and Summer's 3 feet long, find out how many feet long Lucy is.
Good. So you said to find Lucy, we do 5 feet minus 3 feet to give us the leftover feet that cover Lucy. So Lucy is 2 feet. Great units too, Alba. You made sure to, oh, I wrote feet. That's not a word. She's 2 feet. Good. You made sure to include your units, which is going to be really important here. So Alba said 2 feet. She had a plan. We solved. I'm moving on. I answered the question. What is the length of Lucy in inches? 2 feet. I answered it. And no, the question was trying to trick you. Circle the key word here. Inches. Inches. So my final step, now that I know the feet, now I can say how many inches. And 2 feet, we know, well, I'm not going to write feet here. 2 feet, we know that 1 foot has how many inches? Call it out. 12. So 2 feet, 2 times 12 will have 24 inches. Okay, so today you're going to practice converting units, and you're also going to practice solving number stories that ask you to convert units as well. Make sure you RTQ or read the question very carefully. Oops, I underlined that wrongly. Because a lot of times it's going to try to trick you, and you have to know very specifically which units you want. Good luck.